Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about, and this is super important, another way to, just besides the fee structure, of do your research. So any property that you're going to purchase into, this is what I would do. Whenever someone sends me a property, whether it's on one of these platforms or if it's one of my investor clients, I'm going to pull things up on public platforms because that's what everyone's looking at. Public platforms like Realtor and Zillow.com and all that are usually pulling information somewhat from the MLS. Some of them do more of the MLS pull. Some of them use more algorithmic stuff. But I look at all of them on these properties to see what's right, what's wrong, and see if I can get an indication of what the other properties like this are selling for. So there's some ways you can do that without having to access the MLS. So let me show you the public ways. So here's a property that I own that's in Spokane. I'm pulling it up on Realtor.com. Now, the information on here isn't always accurate. I can tell you that right now. The value-wise, $455. That's probably pretty close. I might be able to get $485 for it. Depends on things about the property and when I was trying to do that. But I'd give it a value between $455 and $485. But I would just look at that here. You can get some information up here about it. Now, Realtor.com, they do some comparables, but I wanted to show you this right here, you guys, because these comparables, I know this area, are out of area, so it's not a good comparable. So I wouldn't look at Realtor.com for the comparables on this. But I still like to look at Realtor.com because you can look at the price history, what it sold for. So this is pretty accurate. In 2020, my price was about $280,000. It's off on the mortgage. That's fine. But you can get some information about the schools. Here's the local schools. These are all excellent schools. There's actually better ratings than this out there. But this is nice to know this if you were looking to invest in this property. You see this right here. Then you can get to a map, see exactly where the property's at. And then you can get it says some other home values. I don't think this is so great. So I'm going to also pull it up on Zillow. Now, here's the same property on Zillow, like I said. Now, what I like about Zillow, it's the same information. You can scroll through here and see their values. They give it a whole different value. Their estimate was $429, so I can tell you that's off. But if I'm going down here, they have a nice little thing here for the comparables, and this is what's important. And they have a nice map to show you where they are. So on the Realtor.com, it didn't show you those comparables like this. So I like this because I can tell you, in my area, it's really important for this house in the center, which is the subject property, that you aren't going what's called off of 5 Mile, which is a big mesa, and you want to compare it to only properties up here. So I could look on the map and see, okay, here's the comparable properties up in this neighborhood, and then I can go up here. Why is that blue? And then click through, and these are better comps than they were on Realtor.com. I can tell you these are way closer to my area because they're up here on the hill. So another one that I really like that I'm going to pull up, I'm going to show you guys right here. This is HomeSnap, homesnap.com. I'll have the links to all of these in the description below, by the way. So I always pull everything up on HomeSnap. Now, I know a lot of realtors hate HomeSnap. It works behind the scenes with some MLSs, and it actually isn't very good behind the scenes, but it has good historic information. So I would pull this up on HomeSnap. Now you can see it's giving it a different value of $428. This is pretty accurate right here, this information. I had to fix it on Zillow. Zillow pulled inaccurate information here. It says I'm least likely to list, probably because I have a low interest rate mortgage. Now it shows property history now this is funny. Remember I showed you before, it showed I purchased it at $280. It doesn't show that on here. If you were just looking on HomeSnap, you wouldn't see that. Now you can pull up mortgages, and I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to show you, this is off. It shows I have a first and a second this is off. I can just tell you that right now. So I don't always take this information as the truth of information. I'm showing you this right here to show you that I know that the financing on this property is different than what it says here. But it shows the current owner. It has a nice property analysis or property summary. But HomeSnap has something else, and I do really like this, and it has a rental analysis. This is actually pretty accurate. It gives me an estimated rental analysis of $2,737, high of $3,000. This is true. This is spot on. If I was to rent my property up here on 5 Mile right now, this property I own, I would absolutely be renting this out for $2,800 a month. And HomeSnap has this spot on. Going down, you can see some more information on schools like you saw on the other ones. And then you can go to similar listings to see what's for sale right now that's similar. And I can tell you, these are up on the hill because there's a lot of new construction by that property. So this is great, you guys. This is some really good information here to see, okay, these properties are the comps that are for sale right now. And then going down here one more, you can go to the recent sales. Now, this is critical. This is super important information. It gives you a sold date. This is a long time ago, right? So you want to look at the sold date and the price. And obviously I can see, did these houses compare? They're similar to the house that I'm talking about. And I'm going to go down here to more closer sale dates. 434 contingent. Sold in February for $450. Sold on October. That's getting too far back. You only want to go back 3 months if you can. 3 months or sooner on this stuff. So That's HomeSnap, you guys. That's really a good tool. Also, one cool thing about HomeSnap on your phone is if you just take your phone and aim it at a house on HomeSnap, it'll pull this up just by having your phone pulling geotagging. It will pull the information just by aiming your phone at the property. That's why it's called HomeSnap, because you can just snap a picture with your phone and it will pull this analysis up for you. Now, the other thing that I always look at for a property is going to be on what's called RentCast. Now, RentCast is, I think, owned by DealCheck. I'm going to get to that in a second. But RentCast will show you, it basically is like pulling up some comparable rents, like an MLS for rents. It's not an MLS for rents. There isn't one, but it does that. It pulls up nearby rents. So pull this up here for this property I was talking about that I showed you. HomeSnap said it could rent for $2,700 a month. So let me type in the address. There we go. Pull this up. What property type? It's a single family house. It is 4-bedroom. It is 3 baths. And it's just put 2,000 square feet. It's a few more than that, but let's just go ahead and put that in here. So this is showing me a rental here of $2,480 a month. And it shows me the comps. I would look down here at these comps and I would see when did they rent, listing date, going back October. This is the one I like the most, obviously, because these are higher. But February, one of my comps is at $3,200. In March, one of my comps, March of 23. So these are old, you guys. Even these are old. 25, this 21. Not similar. These are interesting. So I would always pull this up. I think this is a little bit low, but it's another source of information. There is not one ring to rule them all, like of real estate sites that gives you all the information you need. You're going to need to go onto multiple sites because there's massive amounts of inaccuracies, and I think I've showed that here. So what you want to do is by pulling it up on multiple platforms, pulling up the rent on both RentCast and on HomeSnap, doing some averaging. This is how you learn the market and you can learn the values. If you really want to learn values, the best way to learn values, if you're not a real estate agent, is to pick a neighborhood and start going to the open houses in that neighborhood. Write down the price, and then every week go and estimate what you think it's going to sell for. And every week go look at the new open houses, write down the price, what they're asking for, estimate. And then after a couple months, those houses will sell. You can pull them up on these sources I showed you, or call a real estate broker, but they're all public information. Pull them up, and then when you get within 5% values, like if you can guess, okay, I've been in this open house, you go into an open house, I've been in 50 open houses like this, I'm pretty close on my guessing. I estimate this open house, this property will sell for $325. In a couple months, you'll look it up. What did it sell for? When you can guess that within 5%, you know the market. You're as good as me. You're as good as any broker out there. And you can do that simply by going to open houses, estimate the price that you think it's going to sell for, look it up in a few months, and when you're getting within 5%, you're good to go. Now, there's one other thing, 2 other places I'm going to show you that I look at. The other thing is I go to DealCheck. I love DealCheck. It's a paid software. There's a link in the description below for this, and it is an affiliate link. You get a bonus. I get a bonus if you sign up. I use this tool on properties all the time, and I send these reports to my clients. You put in the property, you put in the information, and it gives you massive breakdowns on everything about the finances on this property. I'm not going to go through this. I could do a 10-video series on how to read these reports. But as you can see right here, this is the kind of analysis it's doing. It's giving you cap rates. It's giving return on equity, return on investments. So this is that same property I showed you that I have, you guys. At the current purchase price, this property is totally underwater. It wouldn't make sense. Look at all the red. Horrible return on equity, horrible return on investment. The IRR is horrible. The cash-on-cash return is horrible. And that's basically, this system is going to use that rental analysis from RentCast that it owns. It's going to pull that in and compare it to the property information that I put in, the purchase price and all that, and give really detailed analysis. There's also a free version of DealCheck you can use, and you can use that for a pretty detailed analysis just for free. Just for signing up. You don't get the full extensive report, but you really don't need it, you guys. The free version of DealCheck gives you a ton of information that will really help you. Then the last thing I look at, and this is true in almost every county in the U.S., is I pull up the county website. Real estate is done at the county level in the U.S. It's not done at the state level, and it's not done at the city level. Real estate is done at the county level. So pull up your local county website for real estate and just type it in, whatever county you're in, real estate, appraiser site, whatever the terms you guys use. Now, let me show you what it would be in mine, just so you can see what it looks like. Let's put that address in. So here we go. I pull this property up on my county website. Every county is going to be different, but you can find out licensing issues, permits in the past, public safety utilities, what school districts, maps. But on mine, this is going to be true of a lot of county websites. Not that one. I want to go to more. So this is just the county public information of the property. So it just gives you a good breakdown of the information, especially the taxes, what the taxes were the last few years. Every county is going to be different on what they disclose, but I just would look it up. Any property, look up the public records in the county website. So those are the 5 steps I take when I'm looking at these properties. If you would like a review of a platform that I really like called Lofty, click on this link right here. They have the cash flow and they have some appreciation plays. And another platform I like is Landa. Click on that link right here. And for me, I think there's a straight cash appreciation play, and I like them too.